Narcissists lull you into a false sense of security. If they are able to gain your trust, the rewards will then be greater for them, because if you are trusting them, when they turn on you, they can actually get a greater reward, because they get more supply, because it cuts deeper when this is a person you trusted and then they stab you in the back. So, they lull you into this false sense of security, so you let your guard down, and then, everything's just ready for them. The game is ready to start once they have your trust, because you're basically, you're reeled in. You're in the game now. So, and let's be clear, a narcissist would not throw you a life preserver if you were drowning. So, they could care less if you lived or died. They do not care, and they would prefer if you were dead. They want to hurt people. What do you think is happening when they're gaslighting you? That's the same thing as letting you drown, or not throwing you a life preserver when you're drowning. You're basically coming to them with issues, and they're gaslighting you. They're basically saying, I don't give two shits about you. You're imagining that. It's not my problem. It's a way of stabbing you in the back. Gaslighting is severe abuse. It is saying that everything the narcissist is doing wrong, which anyone with a functioning brain would know is wrong, they are saying it's perfectly all right, and you are delusional, and how dare you come up with this stuff like you're imagining it. They'll say things like, I'm sorry you feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm sorry you see it that way. It's very condescending. It's very, everything is internal to you, according to them, when we know that they are the delusional one. So you have a delusional person telling you what your reality is. Does that make any sense? I mean, is that, we've all entered the Twilight Zone. We're now entering the Twilight Zone. This is the type of crazy train you're on when you're engaging with a narcissist. They do not care about you at all, and they're quite they're extremely dangerous. It's quite frightening. And even, I was just thinking today of one thing the narcopath said to me. He out of the blue, I just started thinking about this today, was talking about that singer, her name is Selena. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's Mexican. She was Mexican, or I'm not sure where she's from. And you had that woman, I don't know if she was like her manager or what she was, but she murdered the singer. The singer was like very attractive and was like blowing up in popularity and fame. And this woman was just so jealous of her, because the manager like was not very attractive, and here we had this singer who was like, stunningly gorgeous, and he just like mentioned that out of nowhere. And I remember when he was saying it, I was just kind of like, well, what does that have to do with anything? He was basically saying, like, people are so jealous and envious of people, they'll like literally kill you. And I was just kind of like was thinking of that today, and I was like, well, why did he bring that up? Like, why did he say that? And this is when I didn't, I didn't understand what I was dealing with at that time. So, and he asked me to go to one of his shows. Like, he actually has like a band, and he asked me to come and see the show. And I'm just wondering, like, was he planning something? Like, he could have been planning something violent. I don't know. I never had met him before. We talked for years, and we've talked on the phone for like hours, and we would just talk all the time online. And then it started totally creeping me out. I was just like, what if he was up to something? These people are very dangerous. I would not put anything past them. And he talked about like killing people before. Not like, he was just like, oh, if someone did something to my girl. He didn't have a girl, but he was just saying, like, hypothetically. It's like, oh, I would kill them. And I'm thinking, like, well, if you could kill a man, you certainly could kill a woman. So that's a huge red flag for me. That means you're a violent person. You know what I mean? You're just violent. Because I wouldn't just say, oh, I'm going to kill that person. Or I've never said anything like that in my life. Like, that's just not something I would say or act on ever. And I don't have that type of anger in me to do that. But I started, I don't know if I'm taking this too far, but I almost started thinking, was that some type of foreshadowing? Like, was he trying to, because we all know, I didn't know at the time, obviously, but we all know that narcissists have this deep-seated envy and hatred of other people that's just like brewing right underneath the surface. But I did not know, because definitely saw signs of the anger and the hatred, but he always showed it towards men. So that was the kind of confusion. And I just think that was just part of the ruse. Like, he would always make out like he was so chivalrous and defending of women, and he would defend, like had defended me when other guys would like get out of line, or in like different forums or whatever, he would like just completely shred that person. So I'm like thinking, did he do that on purpose to lull me into that security, thinking, well, he protects me, he defends me, so that way when he turned on me, the impact would be that much greater? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still trying to process the whole thing. And you start, like, you kind of remember different things here and there, and then you're like, wait a minute, and it kind of like clicks in your mind. So that's kind of what had been happening. So I was kind of like, why out of the blue did he mention about that Selena singer getting murdered because someone was like jealous and envious of her? I don't know, the whole thing just creeps me out when I think of it. I mean, these people are dangerous. They are very dangerous, and they are not to be taken lightly. Don't go anywhere near them. They can seriously harm you, and it could get violent and physical. So you better you have to protect yourself at all times. I mean, this is not no joke.